Chelsea are champions of the world after defeating Paris Saint-Germain in an enthralling final in the United States of America. With that, I welcome you to another exciting edition of Sports Pizza. My name is Edwin Onyebolis. It's a loaded show. We have a lot in store for you, from football to tennis. And of course, don't forget, we have the Tipsters Corner, where we give you the very, very best of odds analysis for punters going into the weekend. I do this in company of my homeboy, Bankole Oladuni, and together we promise you an exciting time today. But first, let's go on a short break. When we return, we'll get the ball rolling with the FIFA Club World Cup, where Chelsea went, saw, and conquered. Welcome back. This is Sports Pizza. If you're joining us for the very first time, it's a sports show where we give you nothing but the very best of analysis, information, education, and a tinge of entertainment. And of course, I do this in company of my homeboy, Bankole Oladuni. Bankole, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, doing? I'm good. How about you?
I'm doing great.
I mean, after the weekend that we just saw, a weekend that was filled with a lot of exciting stuff going on in the big world of sports, from the Wimbledon, Alcaraz against Sinner, and I'm sure you were not excited about that result here after what Sinner did. After what Sinner did to your boy Djokovic. But yeah, I mean, it's the two best talents on court so far in this modern day era. Yeah. And on the FIFA Club World Cup, Chelsea, like you said in your intro, nobody saw it coming. Probably aside from Chelsea fans who, even given the fact that the odds were stacked against them, were still confident in their team going into the final. So yeah, congratulations to Sinner and Chelsea. Two Italians, Maresca and Sinner, doing big things this weekend. All
right, so we'll start with the FIFA Club World Cup. Before we get into the analytical parts of the final, what is your general assessment of the tournament itself? Remember, there have been heavy criticism towards this competition, the timing, the weather, the number of games and stuff like that. But Gianni Infantino, president of FIFA, came out and said, hey, you know what? No football competition in the world has generated as much money as the FIFA Club World Cup. We've generated $2 billion. Each game generated $31 million. That's more money for FIFA, more money for the clubs, more money for the teams, more money for the players. Is this a win for FIFA, or do you think money has overtaken the sport itself? It's a money-driven entity, no longer about sports. What do you think?
I think the game is money-oriented, and it's not supposed to be a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think like I said in the previous editions of the show, the way football is going, it is becoming quite expensive for these clubs, and you have to find other means of income, other means of revenue, to cover up for all of these expenses. You are looking at the average transfer fee being 50 million. Look at Noni Madueke going to Arsenal, a backup player for 50 million. So this is what the big teams have to deal with. So with these expenses, you also have to look at revenue, and the FIFA Club World Cup is one of the biggest opportunities for the clubs participating in it. You look at Chelsea walking away with a huge sum of money, even PSG and the runners-up, a team that does not like money per se, but we still welcome, the income that they got in this competition. My only issue is that the money being generated in this competition is only, the large percentage is from one particular sector, which is from the Saudi money. Like 70% of this money is coming from Saudi. The Zone, who bought the rights for $1 billion, is associated with Saudi. So you take out Saudi, then how much exactly is FIFA generating? How much exactly is the football itself generating?
But then again, it's all about sponsorship. As long as you can account for the money, as long as
Edwin,
potential sponsor can show that, okay, this is how we make our money, I don't think it's a problem. Whether it's Saudi or the big brands or whatever.
I think it's a problem.
Okay, so
I don't have a problem with Saudi sponsoring the FIFA Club World Cup.
Okay.
But I have a problem with Saudi making up 80% of the money being generated in
how about look at it from this prism? Maybe the Saudi, through their PIF or whatever, outbidded other potential sponsors.
Do you also, I don't think a lot of people know there are also 8 other sponsors in this competition.
Yes, they are.
And together, they are not putting up half of what Saudi is putting up. So I only think this is a case of convenience for Saudi. The FIFA World Cup will be going to Saudi in 2036 or also 34 or so. You look at how they have conveniently bought a 1 billion shares in the zone. How much will be going to FIFA is also 1 billion. So all of these things, it feels like it is a case of scratching my back and scratching yours. That's going on between.
That's how the world works, Bankole.
But if you
That's
want
how it
to,
works.
but no, but if you are the football governing body,
Yeah.
if you are supposed to uphold the integrity of the sport, I feel like if you are organizing a competition, you should have sponsors organically. You look at the UEFA. No. You look at the UEFA Champions League.
Okay.
Can you say a sponsor is responsible for 80% of the revenue you are seeing in the UEFA Champions League? Because you know why? Because the football itself.
Bankole, why is this?
The FIFA.
Why is this ethically wrong?
I'm not saying it's ethically wrong. I'm just saying at some point when it is no longer convenient for the Saudis, how will FIFA manage?
Again,
you have to look at it long term. You have to look at, because I like I said,
it takes me to the next question. Would you say the FIFA Club World Cup, this FIFA Club World Cup, was a success?
Yes, it was.
Is it to sell?
No.
Is it to sell?
The football was a success.
Yeah.
But would you say it was a $1 billion success?
Time will tell. Time will reveal.
I don't think it was a $1 billion success.
I think
with the
4 years
drama
is enough time for FIFA to re-strategize, to package, to correct the wrongs from this maiden one. The next one, maybe in Europe, maybe in Africa. I think the weather will be conducive. I think there's going to be proper planning for the teams that will participate in the next FIFA Club World Cup. There's going to be better planning, organization, and stuff like that. So, being the first with plenty of unknowns, and after 63 games, you can sit here and say, "Oh, it was a success."
4 years is also enough for FIFA to go on and mess this up. FIFA in the first edition, I already talked about increasing the amount of club sides that will be participating in the next edition. It is. See, look, I'm not saying it is a bad thing that we're having Saudi or all of this. I'm just saying, like long-term-ish, after the World Cup in 2034, would Saudi still be this invested in football?
Okay, so let's
leave that. If they are not, where would FIFA go to?
Let's leave that. FIFA have been making money. Yes, we've seen the transformation of.
They've been making money with the World Cup, but not the FIFA Club World Cup.
To 48 teams. So let's talk about the game itself before Chelsea fans say, "Hey, you guys, you're boring us with too much of money talk." Chelsea, rightly on the night, based on the performance, were the better side. I didn't see that coming.
Absolutely. I mean, I also didn't see it coming. I thought they were very much equipped to handle PSG than Real Madrid, but I didn't think it was going to be a throbbing. You know, just like we saw in the game, it was basically a one-sided affair. And if it was supposed to be a one-sided affair, a lot of people thought it would be, in PSG's way. But Chelsea tactically, the way they set up, it was long ball over the top, taking advantage of the space being left by Nuno Mendes. And there's been a lot of talk about pressing, and I don't look. I've always said it. I'm a preacher of that football is simple. Football is only as complicated as you make it to be. Long ball from Red Sanchez to Malo Gusto, who uses pace and power to take advantage of Nuno Mendes, and you have a goal. It is quite simple. All this talk about pressing, all this talk about Jogo Bonito, Diamond, it is basically unnecessary, and that's exactly what we saw. At the end of the day, simplicity is still the most efficient way to get results.
Going into the new season, do you think expectations have changed for Chelsea?
Absolutely. I mean, you don't go on to beat PSG convincingly the way you do without increasing the expectations.
Was it one-off?
Yeah, but it is also PSG. It is also one of the best teams in the world at the moment. So yeah, I think next season, I think a lot of people want to see Chelsea maybe not go on to win the Premier League title, but be there and about. Not what we saw last season, not just struggling to get into the top four, be comfortable in the top four. And you look at the teams around them, the likes of Arsenal, the likes of Manchester City. The gap is not as wild as we thought it is. So yeah, there's a chance for them to go in there, compete favorably for the title, and at the end of the season, be comfortable in top four places. You know why
I'm smiling?
Why?
My question: is Chelsea the best team in the world?
Yes. Chelsea are the best team in the world. They are the world champions. So yeah, it is. So
difficult. World champion. So
Edwin. Like I told you.
So it's different. World champion, best team in the world.
So they are the best team in the world. Do you know why I said so?
Why?
Because we've not seen a competition like. If this was the usual Club World Cup where you just come in the semi-final, I wouldn't have this stake. But this is a competition where we saw 32 teams from all over the world.
Okay.
And these are 32 teams that are supposedly the best
No.
in their region.
But
That's why I said
it's
in the last no, it's based off coefficients. And
yes,
coefficients
it's based on
coefficients is your
teams,
performance.
Some teams also didn't deserve to be here.
Teams like who?
Inter Miami don't deserve to be here.
Okay.
Other teams are here because of what they did 4 years ago.
No, it's the accumulation. It's the accumulation.
Not because of what they did
anyway, it's
in
the
the present moment.
It's the accumulation of what has happened in the last 4 years.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It is not an isolation of just one particular.
So
if in the last 4 years
Chelsea in the last 2 years, Chelsea in the last 2 years, I know one of the best teams in the world.
But if you stretch it to
if
you stretch it to the last 4 years, which is the criteria for this competition, Chelsea were Champions League winners.
And I think
Chelsea were Champions League winners.
Four years is too much to judge a team as being one of the best in the world.
But that's the metric of the competition.
Again, that's why we are here as analysts to analyze these things.
Yet we still saw the supposedly best teams in the world participate in this very competition.
Not all of them, but some of them. Would you tell me in this moment that Chelsea is a better team than Liverpool?
Who is the best team in Europe? PSG, right? Were they in this competition?
Yeah, they were in the
absolutely.
Yeah.
Real Madrid are also in this competition. One of the best teams, in Europe also.
Liverpool's not here.
Inter Milan.
Not here.
No. Look,
I'm telling you teams that are better than Chelsea.
Why are Liverpool not here?
Coming into this competition?
Why are Liverpool not here? Instead of why is Inter Milan ahead of Liverpool in this competition? Or
like I said, based on the last
Barcelona.
Based on
exactly.
The last
so with
the last 2 years.
Even in the last 2 years, let's look at the last 2 years.
Okay.
Will Liverpool be ahead of Inter Milan in coefficient in Europe?
Definitely, they'll be ahead of Chelsea.
No, I'm even talking about
in the last 2 years.
If you are discrediting Chelsea, you also have to discredit the likes of Inter.
That's what I'm saying.
So
with Inter Milan,
the likes of Real Madrid.
So with Inter Milan, I can understand. They've been in the Champions League in 2 of the last 3 Champions Leagues. They've won the league title in the last once in the last 3 seasons. So you can understand and make a case for Inter Milan. You cannot make a case for what's the case for Chelsea?
So if you want to do the last 3 years,
Chelsea are only here because they won the Champions League 4 years ago.
They also won the UEFA Super Cup 3 years ago.
Come on, stop.
No. It is a game of coefficients.
So now,
and in the last 4 years,
like
Chelsea.
I have a vendetta against Chelsea.
No. It's not a vendetta against Chelsea. Now, it's just two opposing views.
Bankole, going into next season, who are your top 3 teams to win the Premier League?
To win the Premier League?
Yeah.
Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea.
Oh, interesting. How convenient for you. Top 5 teams to win the Champions League.
Top 5 teams to win the Champions League. PSG, Real Madrid, Liverpool, Barcelona, and Chelsea.
Come on, Bankole. Really?
You asked me.
All right, before we wrap up this segment, MVP went to Cole Palmer, who was phenomenal on the day. But I have an issue with individual awards now. I think it has been watered down. It's now a popularity contest. No way you look at Palmer's performances over the course of 3-4 weeks and come out and say he's the best player or he was the best player in the tournament. I thought if you're to pick a player from Chelsea, Caicedo had a good shout. Neto was very good. Enzo Fernandez, even the goalkeeper, Sanchez, I thought they were good. But it's in the moment stuff. And I don't think it was. What do you think?
I agree with you. I agree with you. I think individual awards these days is, aside from it being a popularity contest, it is a thing of moments. Who is trending? It's down to who is trending at the moment. And that was exactly what we saw. Cole Palmer scored 2 goals in the final and was added the golden ball. In comparison to a Pedro Neto who has been consistent all through from the group stage down to the final. We saw his performance. Maybe he didn't get a goal and assist, but you saw the shift he put in that final against Palmeiras. Also, he put in a very decent shift. Moses Caicedo also, one of the best midfielders in the world at this moment. The way he bossed every team he has played so far in this competition. So I think these are guys that, if I think they are more deserving of the Golden Ball award than Cole Palmer. But I don't think a lot of Chelsea fans or a lot of football fans would also complain that much about it being given to Cole Palmer.
I'm complaining, by the way. All right, guys, we need to go on a short break. When we return, there's more on the other side. Welcome back from that short break. It is still Sports Pizza. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms. Handles are showing on your screen. Bankole will head straight to Morocco, where the Super Falcons are in the quarterfinals, and they get to face one of the favorites for this tournament, Zambia. But before we get to that game, quickly, what did you make of their group stage performance, where they won 2 games, drew 1 against Algeria, defeated Botswana and Tunisia? I thought they played well, just enough to get into the quarterfinals, but they didn't particularly light up the group stage.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they went through the group stage in gear 2, and that was enough. That was sufficient. I don't think it should cause alarm bells yet. I mean, going 3 games, keeping 3 clean sheets, scoring 4 goals is something that you can build on, you know, heading into the next round. So I don't think it's a problem. It is a team that has shown that they are defensively strong. It's a team that have shown that structure-wise, they have their game on spot. So in the game against Zambia, they'll need to be very physical. They'll need to impose themselves early in the game. It's not something that we've seen since the Tunisia game. You know, them imposing themselves, you know, taking their chances. In the game against Botswana, it was quite lackadaisical from them. Also, you can excuse them in the Algeria game that they've already qualified and they didn't need to exert themselves. And also, you know, it was a mixture of the team B and also the team A. But against Zambia, you have to impose yourself early. You have to go at the Zambians. Like you said, they're one of the favorites to go on to the competition. In the last couple of years, also they've grown in leaps and bounds. They've gone on to represent Africa in the Olympics twice. You know, they've also, you know, competed well in this particular competition. So I think if we want to take anything away from Zambia, we have to impose ourselves very early. We have to be physical and we have to get at them. We have to get in their faces and you know, take our chances when it comes.
All right, wishing the Falcons all the best against Zambia. We hope that the Doors Proud and Mission X will become a reality. From Morocco, we head back to Europe. This time, it's London. Wimbledon SW19. Before we get to Alcaraz Sina rivalry, Iga Swiatek won her first title at Wimbledon. She became the ladies' winner. That's what they are called. For the men, is the gentleman's winner. And she baggled Amanda Anisimova in straight sets. I didn't see that coming. Yeah, 6-love. It was 57 minutes.
And I was watching that game, and I remembered the show we had when we were talking about when we were previewing the Wimbledon. And I was like, it is difficult to see anybody compete with Iga Swiatek. You know, you can have all of
Sabalenka.
You can have all of
she was disappointing.
You can have all of these girls show up once in a while, but if you are talking about the long stretch, you know, the year in run, you know, Grand Slams to Grand Slam, the only person you can guarantee, you can count on to show.
Come on, there's Sabalenka. She's been to two.
No. I'm not taking anything. I'm not taking anything from Sabalenka, but Sabalenka is probably the second best player in the WTA circuit, but the gap between Sabalenka and Swiatek is also still very much significant.
I don't think it's
no. What you're having with Sina and Alcaraz is not the same thing with Swiatek and Sabalenka. It is not.
It is.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And I also think the gap between Sabalenka and Coco Gauff is also quite significant.
Maybe.
Yes.
I think the best two players in the world in the same tier are Sabalenka and Iga Swiatek.
And there's a significant gap between both parties.
No, I don't think so.
I don't look. I talk about Swiatek because you look at the way she plays. You look at the way the physical aspect of her game is not something you see in the probably aside from Sabalenka. That's why, like, the only person who can get into that conversation with her is Sabalenka. Intelligence on the court.
You're talking about a lady who's won her first major.
I'm also talking about a lady
in her career who on grass. This is our first ever. This is our first ever final, our first ever title. You can't compare to Sabalenka, who on all surfaces has shown that she can compete and have a deep run in this competition. So I'm not taking
who has more Grand Slams, Swiatek or Sabalenka?
I don't want us to go into the
it is
preferential surface conversation because
look,
I'm inclined to go there.
You're saying Sabalenka
6 titles. 4 on clay. You can clearly see that.
How many Grand Slam titles does Sabalenka have?
Okay, so she has 3 Grand Slam singles titles.
Okay.
2 in US, 1 in Australia. Clearly, hard court is her favorite surface. Hard court.
In comparison to a Swiatek, who has.
But she's had deeper runs, and I can coming into next year. I'll put my money on Sabalenka winning Wimbledon, not Swiatek.
No, Swiatek.
Yes, she has
Sabalenka also participated in the same Wimbledon.
I agree with you.
Even going into US Open.
Yeah.
I would still comfortably put my money on the Swiatek winning it ahead of Sabalenka.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
All right. All right, guys. But before we do our video for the week, last week we introduced a new segment of the show, Start, Bench, and Sell. And today it's Nigerian themed. We're going with 3 Super Eagles legends: Austin Okocha, Kanu Nwankwo, Mikel Obi. Start, bench, sell. Now, the catch here is for
Nigeria.
Super Eagles and their club career.
Super Eagles and their club
both.
career.
Yeah.
Okay. I would start Kanu.
Oh.
Yeah, I would start Kanu. I think Kanu, very underrated. He doesn't have the flair and tricks that you'd see from Okocha or from other, but he was very, very efficient whenever he needed to be. He was very, very, direct whenever he needed to be. And
for the Super Eagles,
even for the Super Eagles,
Mikel Okocha,
he had
use your word significantly.
He had his moments with the Super Eagles.
Better.
The Atlanta Olympics.
That's under 23 Bankole. That's under 23. He didn't win the AFCON, never scored in the AFCON.
But if you merge what he did with his club side with the Super Eagles,
so
a combination of both, you put it on a scale, it would still outweigh the likes of JJ Okocha and Mikel Obi. So I'll be starting Kanu.
Why are you benching?
This is difficult, but I would bench Mikel. Mikel Obi was one of probably our biggest exports since JJ Okocha. You look at what he did on the under 17 down to the Super Eagles is the template for a lot of players ever since he broke out. The transition from youth football down to senior football. His time at Chelsea also, he won everything that he could win at Chelsea. Also won the AFCON with the Super Eagles. Also won bronze in the Olympics. Got silver in the AFCON. So this is a man who has shown that he has a penchant for winning both for club and country. So I think Mikel would be on the bench, and JJ Okocha, I would have to sell him.
Interesting one there. Let's go on a break. We'll be back. Yeah, we've come to the final moments of the show. I'm sure you enjoyed that video. Chelsea fans are still in high heavens. What did you make of that trophy? Is that a trophy? Is that a plaque? Is that what do you make of it?
Whatever it is you want to call it, but it looks beautiful. It looks like something that would beautify their trophy cabinet. So and it's all gold. I know, like it's about over 24 karat gold, and it seemed quite heavy also. So I think any team would want to have that in their trophy cabinet.
And President of the United States, Donald Trump.
Yeah, Donald Trump. The
crash party.
The attention seeker himself. I don't think he knows a lot about football. I don't think he was aware that he had to step back from the situation. But you could see how happy he was to also join in the celebrations. All right,
it's time for our Tipsters Corner, and we have just one game for you. The Super Falcons of Nigeria versus Zambia. Quarterfinal Women African Cup of Nations. Bankole, what are we looking forward to?
Now, this is a very interesting game. I don't think anybody will be going into that game with the expectation of goals. I think we might even see a full-time draw.
Interesting.
You might see a full-time draw.
Okay, full-time draw.
Where the game would go into extra time and perhaps into penalties. Probably an under 2.5 seems, likely for that particular game. I'm thinking of a Nigeria double chance, but it is quite risky. But like I said, I think it's going to be a full-time draw, and would see both teams going to extra time.
Full-time draw, both teams going into extra time, under 2.5. That is what we have for you on the Tipsters Corner. And to wrap on today's edition of Sports Pizza, I know you thoroughly enjoyed this. If you want more action, head down to our YouTube channel. More contents for your viewing pleasure. Always lovely. Always excited doing this with you, Bankole.
Yes, it's always a pleasure to be here, Edwin. And from me to our viewers, bye-bye.
For me, Edwin Onyeboli said, do have a fantastic sporting week. God bless you.